Hello, 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 and welcome. I am indeed the Texarcist, Shane Moore, and I will be here for the next 2 hours taking your questions and comments on our live chat. Tonight's topic, free your mind. The fact is that the majority of people are unaware that they're prisoners to the world system because this system is all they have ever known. We constantly hear world leaders and those in positions of power talk about peace, love, and tolerance. But what's wrong with this picture? Well, look around you. You see wars, threats of war, hatred, and intolerance, the very opposite of what they proclaim. What if your opinions, plans, beliefs, and choices were not entirely your own? What if you have been guided into a particular mindset with all the necessary information to sustain that mindset? This is the very definition of programming. I know it's not a pleasant thing to think about, but just bear with me. Tonight I will answer these questions. We'll address the topic. I will address these problems and offer solutions. I'll take a short break and allow listeners who want to join our live chat to do so. I encourage everyone listening to join the live chat. Please join the live chat. It makes the show so much better. Anyway, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
Stars.
And I am back. I hope everyone is doing great and ready for an informative and exciting show tonight. By the way, I would like to introduce my new co-host, Michelle Ems. Michelle has studied and researched many of the same subjects I discuss on the show, and she's here now. So, Michelle, say hello to everyone. Michelle? Hello? Well, it seems like we've lost Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Michelle. Okay. Well, I'm sure she will call back. So, sorry about that. As usual, been having problems with technical difficulties. So, anyway, it's okay. There she is. Hello. Okay, Michelle.
Yeah.
Okay, I I don't know what's going on, but um, it is. I can barely hear you.
Yeah, you're breaking up too.
I have no idea. Um, and it's just fine until we get the call. So
I can't even understand what you're saying.
okay,
Do you want to just scrap it and then I'll just do comments?
okay. Let's see. Let's try this. Okay. How's that? No, it's still doing it. Still doing it. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I guess we'll just do the comments for now and work this out later. And I apologize to the listeners. Sorry about that, but um, we have worked on this and worked on it, and everything was set. And every time it just starts with this static. And
I can't even understand what you're saying.
okay, yeah,
Will we do it later?
yes.
We'll work on it later.
Yes, and
Okay.
I will send you the live link. Um, okay, all right. Okay. Yes, this is the pitfalls of being live. It's certainly putting yourself out there at the mercy of technology. So, um, crazy. Okay, I just now sent you the live link. So,
Okay, yeah, I've got it.
okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle. Bye.
You're welcome.
Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, we're going to talk about how to free your mind. Now, there's many people that talk about hello, hello, hello. Okay, there are many people that talk about the world and the world system, and when you think about it, the world system is definitely a system of deception and a system of greed, for at least for the most part. It's that's what drives it. That's what gives it power. Money talks, and power reigns. And those with power, they want more power. They have an insatiable lust for power. And it's a sad fact, but that's why that when we look around, we see wars and threats of war. We hear them talk about peace, safety, love, tolerance, but that's not what is on their mind. When you are constantly told that you are free and that that you are at peace, or just the land of the free, the home of the brave. Okay, now I love this country. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just speaking truth. The fact is, you're not free, and that's why that you constantly hear that, and you've heard that your entire life. It has been, you have been indoctrinated to believe that. And even though you're not free, and in this country, I mean, we have more freedom than most citizens of different countries, but we're not free. I mean, you're not free to break laws that the lawmakers have made, but it's amazing how the lawmakers can be lawbreakers. And how many of them do you see punished? How many of them do you see suffer the consequences of breaking the law? They do things that if you and I did the same thing, we would be put under the prison. And it's just wrong all the way around. But the main thing is how those who are prisoners of this world system, they have no idea that they're imprisoned, which is the worst kind of imprisonment. I've had several people say this podcast and my YouTube channel should be having thousands of views, some say millions. Unfortunately, this world system is built and based on deception and greed. And because of that, people, their mindset, their very consciousness has been molded, has been shaped and formed by the world system. I mean, it is, it's crazy. Michelle, you're right. You say we're constantly coerced to give our rights and sovereignty away through deception as well. Yeah, order out of chaos, exactly. Which is why that we see them speak and talk about peace, love, tolerance, but war, threats of war, division, hatred, violence, lust. I mean, just everything that you can think of, the lure of being rich, famous, and powerful. What are those things? What are those things in themselves? They are completely there, completely put in front of you and communicated to you because they are the opposite of your spirit. They don't build you up spiritually. They tear you down. That's right. Delusion and illusion. And it's like smoke and mirrors. They speak one thing, but they do another. They divert your attention, look here, and they're doing something completely opposite out of your sight. When you have your head turned, when you're focused on what they say instead of watching what they do, yes, it's very easy to be deceived. Now, consider how, people, I'm 50. I grew up watching TV. And remember, many listeners, if you're like 20, 25, you probably won't remember the each night there was a time when, believe it or not, TV was zip. It was shut down. It was off. You couldn't watch it. Now it's 24/7, so, But they would always play the national anthem. And on YouTube, there is someone saved a video of that back in 1977, I believe it was. And 1977, I would have been 9 years old. So imagine me sitting there watching this, and it starts out with the national anthem, and it has the caption, the words to the song, okay? But when the words change, when they change to another verse or stanza, whatever, the words change, and you can very clearly see when they change, they slide to form obey the government. And I'm like, whoa. And then it goes even further. God is watching. And then it goes so far as to, at the very end, it's when the words slide to the last, or almost the last lines or stanzas, whatever. It says, God is government. And I'm thinking, well, that's pretty spot on, because that's exactly what they think. I mean, that's their feeling, that they are your God. They are in control of you, and as far as freedom, you're as free as they allow you to be. Now think about that. I'm not making this up. I mean, when you think about it, you're as free as they allow you to be, because any one of us, for any reason, could be arrested, could be detained, and held. For what? Well, it doesn't matter. What does that tell you? Well, you're not free. Or if you think you're as free as they allow you to be. But if you start criticizing them incessantly, and there used to be free speech. I mean, there used to be freedom of speech. But now that's pretty much going bye-bye. I mean, because you say certain things, you voice your opinion. And I'm not even talking about hate speech. Believe it or not, hate speech has been deemed constitutional many times in the Supreme Court. It's just the way it is. I mean, but now there's a lot of things that you cannot say without having the powers that be, the government, come down on you and or threaten you in different ways. So that speaks volumes. But what I want to talk about is how these things, it's a double talk. It's the twisting, the purposeful confusion that they cause. For what? Well, to keep you on edge, to keep you anxious, to keep you worried, but the whole time they're promising you peace. Why would they be promising us peace? Why would they be reinforcing that? Peace, peace, peace. The world is peaceful, or we're peaceful, because they know you don't have it. And the truth is, they don't want you to have it. Why? Because peace doesn't make money. Peace isn't successful. Peace doesn't earn money. It doesn't, nobody gains in their world, in this world system, by peace. No one gains anything in this world system by love. And I'm saying this world system that is based on, it's basically based on death. Because everything that I've listed, wars, division, hatred, violence, it all leads to death. Maybe not always physical death, but spiritual death, yes, it does. See, Michelle, you say it's hard to be spiritual when people are in fear and don't have their basic needs met. That's right, it is. And that's why that it has been designed and built. That's right. They want us outward looking inward. They want us always wanting. They want us always in need of what? Things that we should have as human beings, as citizens. Peace, safety, love, the freedom to speak our mind. We should have all these things. But we don't. I mean, we have some, to some extent, but not the way they say. Not the way they say. And look at this, look at what's going on right now with they're really, really wanting war with Iran. Okay? Now, just, do the math. Do the math on this. 9/11 happened. They attacked Iraq. Iraq didn't have anything to do with that. They've got weapons of mass destruction, right? And remember how WMDs was just permeated the media, the radio, television, WMDs, that can reach into the United States. So we got to take them out. And they did. But this was after 9/11. Why go into a country that didn't have anything to do with 9/11? Why not go into the country that was claimed to be responsible first, at least? But no, they didn't. And there were 200,000, if not more, Iraqi men, women, and children that died. And Iraq was leveled. And there were people cheering, and they're, yes, give it to them and everything. And I'm standing back, and I'm thinking, my God, what is this? And I would ask some people, why are you cheering? Well, because it's awesome, they're getting their punishment. And I said, for what? Well, I don't know, but it's just, it's everybody else is cheering. Right. Exactly. That's called a hive mentality. It's also called ignorance. Yes. I'm not going to pull any punches with people like that. They need to be told the truth. And maybe when they're told that it's ignorant, or they're ignorant, that it's like a slap in the face, and they wake up, Most don't, but you're right. So much death. Syria too, horrific. Yemen. I mean, Gaza. I mean, there are mass genocides taking place right now, and nobody's saying anything about it. They're turning a blind eye to it, like they always have. Now consider that Syria and Iran are the two countries who do not have or are not owned by Rothschild banks. Whoa, that's a big clue on why Syria is being attacked and being poked and prodded. Why? Because Iran is the real target. And they know that if they can really do something to Syria, that Iran will step in. Their allies, Iran will step in, and then that will give them justification to do to Iran what they did to Iraq. And I said this like 3 months ago. I said, watch for this. They're going to start poking and prodding and inciting Syria to do something that will give them justification to level everything. And when they do, Iran's going to step up, as we would for our allies. I mean, we would. And when they do, there you go. It would be justification. Anything they do at this point. I mean, anything. And John Bolton, he's foaming at the mouth. I mean, he cannot. He wants war with Iran so bad. Also consider that those are the only two countries in the Middle East that haven't been conquered or overtaken by the United States. Yeah. So when you have the entire Middle East in your grasp, what do you have? Well, you can build pipelines for oil and gas wherever you want. Money, money, money. But that hive mentality that I was talking about, that's rampant. And it's amazing how people do it. And they don't even realize it. They don't even realize that they're only doing it because they get caught up in it. They get caught up in the excitement. They get caught up in the, I don't know, they get caught up in the vibration. It's a very low vibration. It's a negative vibration, but nevertheless, they stay around it and they resonate with it. to the point to where they're cheering while people are being slaughtered or blown to pieces. And you can ask them, why are you cheering? And they can't tell you. They can't give you a definitive answer or a meaningful answer. They have no idea. Most never, come to their senses. Some do, which is a good thing. But these negative things come from the mindsets. And trust me, their minds have been set. It's like set in stone. They've been molded. They have been, like I said, they've been given the information and everything to build this mindset. Now, what's a mindset? It's a set of beliefs or ideas. What is the most powerful thing in existence? An idea. And if you can influence or you can guide someone to have certain ideas, ideas lead to beliefs. And if you can guide them to believe a certain way, it's like I said last night, you don't have to do anything else. They do the rest. They build their own prison. They do the work of those that are reaping the rewards for it, and they don't even realize it. But these are the minds that need to be set free. And truth is everyone who are unaware that they're prisoners all deserve to be made aware and the chance to be set free. I mean, it's their choice. Michelle, you say our mind manifests our reality, our thoughts and beliefs matter. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they know this, which is why that we are constantly, anything that would help our spirit grow, or to even make people aware of their spirit, is buried. It's pulled away. It is like the smoke and mirrors. You don't see it. Now, in Las Vegas, think about it. In Las Vegas, there's nothing that even remotely will make you think about love, compassion, empathy. Nothing. It's all about desire. It's all about fulfilling your lust, which is why it's called Sin City. I mean, and I wouldn't call it Sin City. I would just call it, Evil Central. I mean, it's just, or Lust Central. And I'm not just talking about sexual. I'm talking about everything. The fame, the fortune, the chance to hit the jackpot and become, terribly rich. It's all designed, Bad Habit City. It's all designed to feed your mind that if you follow your mind, the mind is earthly. I mean, it's worldly, and it wants and desires everything. If you follow that, you will die. I mean, things are not going to turn out good for you. If you follow your spirit, You may not be rich, you may not be famous, you may not be this or that, but you will be alive. And you will see things as they are. You'll know truth, and the truth will set you free. And the blinders will come off, like I said, and your eyes will be open. Your real eyes will realize what's going on, and you'll never be the same. Now, what has happened is people from birth, basically, they've been disconnected from their hearts, from their spirit, and were never given the chance, to connect in the first place. Which means that a connection or a reconnection needs to take place. But that's very difficult when someone has a belief system or they have a mindset that's already been provided to them that they believe is their own. They believe it's their beliefs, their opinions, their desires, their plans. And is it? Are those, in fact, their plans, or have they been tainted by the world system? And I very much believe that that's the case, because they don't know this. This is all they know. Their environment, their surroundings have always been the world system. They don't know anything else. So the only thing that a lot of people know is dog eat dog, to climb the ladder to success. It doesn't matter who you step on. There's no compassion. It's the law of the jungle. Survival of the fittest. And, forget everybody else. It's me, me, me. And so truth, and there is truth. I believe there's truth within everyone. Maybe it's just dormant. Maybe it's just suppressed, but I believe there's truth within everyone, and that truth must be retrieved and brought to their awareness. Shall you say mind is 95% conscious, creative, and 5% subconscious are habits. We can be programmed to change beliefs or habits in 3 ways. Yes, we can program ourselves, or we can be programmed unknowingly, which is what I said that at the start, is that what has happened is just that. People have been programmed, just like you program a computer. The data, the information that has been given to them was for that very purpose, to program them. And you're right. Memorization, repetition, and hypnosis. It's a form of hypnosis. And how many people do you see every day walking, and they look like that they are absolutely just, no one's home. I mean, they're walking, but they look absolutely, they're oblivious to everything. Almost as if they're in a trance. Because they very most likely are. Most likely in some kind of trance. Although it be subtle, nevertheless, they're in it. They're in that trance, that control. And what they're doing is they believe their belief that they're free is the very thing that imprisons them, that keeps them imprisoned. And I'll say that again. The very belief that they're free is the very thing that keeps them imprisoned. Because someone that believes they're free, they're not going to seek freedom. They already have it, right? But what is a prisoner? A prisoner is someone who has been placed under control of certain powers or those in position of power, lawmakers, those that enforce the law. Prisoners never venture beyond the boundaries set for them. Now, some do. Some do. Those are the ones that are no longer prisoners, so we can't call them prisoners because they went beyond the boundaries set for them. Now, consider the world today. What are the boundaries set for us? Well, they're subtle, but nevertheless they're there. And those that ask questions, those that question authority, those that question the official record, or, oh, you are going to be hated. This world system cannot stand, matter of fact, it hates anyone that questions anything. So, why is that? Because they don't want to give you the answer, because their fear is that you will go beyond the boundaries and you'll find truth for yourself. And since they're based on deception and lies, I mean, really, literally, they certainly don't want you doing that. Also, what they have going for them is that most people, just by nature, they're afraid to venture beyond what they know or what they've experienced. They fear the unknown. They fear what they don't understand, and they fear what they have not experienced. So, how do they deal with that? Well, they don't confront it. They don't go beyond what they know. It's like someone that's living in a room or living in a house, and they have everything they need. Everything they need. And they've lived there their entire life. I mean, they've never left that house. And they believe that that's all there is to living. And if they're shown that there's a world outside, they may venture outside, but say they see a car, or they see the highway, or they see a plane. What happens? Well, they're going to run back in the house where they know everything. They're comfortable there. They feel safe there. When, really, the highway, the plane, wasn't going to harm them. Wasn't, targeted for them. But they became set in their own little place, their own little world, and they felt the security, they felt the safety, and if they leave that, they also leave their security and safety. And that is something that so many people do, and it's very sad. So, Michelle, you say, they also condition the mainstream to vilify and separate themselves from us that are awake. That's right. Or they vilify us, or they ridicule us. And that's fine. I mean, I have people that They make fun of me. They ridicule me. But when I tell them, hey, I welcome that, because that tells me that I'm doing something right, because you're an intelligent person, and you wouldn't waste your time sending me hate mail and with personal insults, and some have written like a novel to me. And it's like, thank you for that, because I know you wouldn't waste your time unless it was something very, very important to you, and so you have just motivated me. And yes, you're right. Hurts most from family and friend separation. That's right. But it's people in my own family. Really, my mother is probably the only person in my family that I'm still in contact with, and that's how bad that it's gotten. I mean, and for the most part, when I'm around, family members, I just don't fit in, and they're not really sure how to act around me, or maybe it's just the opposite. I'm not sure how to act around them, but I try to do the best I can, but I'm the type that, I'm not going to be rude or anything, but I will speak my mind, and maybe that's the problem. But there's people that have been told all of their lives, their minds have been reinforced to never go beyond what they know or what they've experienced, and they're given warnings, and I'm not saying not to listen to people that warn you of things. Listen, but do your own research, make up your own mind, because I have a new message. Go beyond. Go beyond the boundaries that are set for you, because what are boundaries? They were meant to be overcome. Obstacles, things put in your way. And it's almost like the Truman Show, it's almost like they told him, well, if you go out in the ocean, if you go out in the sea, you're going to die. Well, that turned out not to be the case. And they were just telling him that to keep him in his make-believe world, which was nothing more than a type of simulation, which is a whole nother show, but that's really, really getting out there. But some of the greatest minds today are saying that there's like a 1 in a billion chance that we are not living in a simulation. Call me crazy, but I happen to believe that we are. I believe that this is a test, and that we are in fact in a simulation. I'm not saying that things are not real. I'm saying that they are only real from our perspective. Much like if you were a character in a video game. The things there, if you were a character, they would be real to you, but to the people playing, to the makers, to the creators, it's not real. So, there you go. You say, always pick the option not given. That's right. Because there are endless possibilities. there are endless paths. There's endless doors and opportunities, but most of the time in the world that we are offered maybe 3 or 4 possibilities, 3 or 4 choices to make. And most people never question that, never say, hey, well, what about, like, you're given 4 choices. Many people never say, well, what about choices 5, 6, 7, 8, Well, because they've been programmed, they accept that that's their only options, whether it be college or their career, even who to marry or whatever. And that's what I like to say. In this world system, opinions are provided, people are divided, futures are predecided, and beliefs are one-sided. Because if you don't believe what the world believes, what the world system believes, then you are an outsider. You are cold. You pushed away. And people look at you different because you have a different mindset. You have a different belief system. And that shouldn't be the case. Michelle, you say scientists have said we are in a simulation. Our world is programmed in zeros and ones. And yes, binary code. And the 0 and the 1 is something that I would love to do a show on, but it would have to be video to show the complexities of the 0 and the 1, the binary code. And I'm glad you brought that up, because when you think about it, the binary code, zeros and ones. 0 is negative, the 1 is positive. And it's positive, negative, like a battery, somewhat. But it's a chain, it's a line. Okay, what are you? Are you not a line of genetic code? That's exactly what we are. A line of genetic code. You could very well ask yourself this strange question. Am I really a line of code within a giant super quantum computer? I don't know, but I find it very strange, very weird that the binary code and the genetic code are very, very similar. Now, the binary code is, of course, just two, symbols, digits, whatever I'm trying to say. And the DNA is 4. So it's more complex, and then you have Dr. James Gates Jr. that about 2 or 3 years ago discovered a code, a computer code within the fabric of reality itself. And he said that it wasn't just the code, that it wasn't just part of, it was not just part of reality, but it actually gave power in some way to reality itself. And he broke the code down some way, I forget how it is, but into a visual form, this code. And it's very eerie because when it's in that form, it looks like a flying saucer. It looks like a UFO, okay? But he takes it further, and there's very definite patterns. And you would just have to look that up on YouTube. And it's very, very interesting because you have Neil deGrasse Tyson there, and I believe Elon Musk is there, and Dr. James Gates is explaining how he discovered this code. And Neil deGrasse Tyson says, so what are you saying? And he says, what I'm saying is he says, I never thought that I would find myself believing that I was living in the Matrix. And Neil deGrasse Tyson says, whoa, hold on. He says, I've got to go home. He says, I've got to process this. He says, are you serious? And he says, yes. He says, I'm serious. He said, it is literally, he said, it is code. It is computer code. He said, it is advanced computer code. And he even gave the type of computer code that it was closest to. And believe it or not, it was computer code from the very beginning. 1940s, Claude Shannon, the Shannon codes. He said that it was like the Shannon codes, but it was very, very advanced, and an advanced form. So I'm thinking, well, if this is a simulation, it would take a very, very advanced intelligence to construct it. I mean, there would have to be architects, if you want to call them that, to construct such a realistic world, such a realistic simulation. But that's very, very telling when you think about if your opinions and your choices are really provided and are slipped in and they guide you or they lead you, then you really can't say that your opinions and choices, you can't really say that your beliefs are in fact your beliefs. They've been provided to you. And that's part of waking up, or that's part of unplugging. Unplug yourself from the world system, because as long as you're plugged in, you're never going to see. I mean, it's like literally being hooked up to the simulation, just like if you were hooked up to a video game. Until you unplug from that, you are not going to see anything in the real world. You're only going to see what's in that virtual reality. It's like where you wear the headset, the glasses and everything. When you look behind you, well, you look behind you, and that virtual reality simulation brings it behind you. So you experience actually being there, right? Well, Einstein's theory of relativity and his special theory of relativity actually says that the same thing happens in this world. Okay, now get this. He says, the things that we see are only there because we observe them. What does that mean? It means that when they're not observed, they're not there. They don't exist. They're in a wave. They're in a waveform. What's a waveform? It's a possibility. When they're observed, when you look at them, when you observe them, they change from waves to particles. And they become solid. Or appear solid. Now let's face it, atoms are what? 99.99% empty. It's just the neutron, the electron, the proton are moving so fast they appear to be solid. But for the most part, they don't even exist. So what is it? Your mind makes it real. And what is real? What is real? It is your body, your mind, your brain producing certain chemicals to produce certain sensations and for you to experience reality. Much like you are interacting with a computer program. It's like your brain is the it's like your brain was, let's see, what am I trying to say? Your brain is the thing that interacts with the program itself. And it's definitely connected, which is what I mean when I say that to be free, you have to disconnect. You have to disconnect from what? From everything you've ever known. Because everything you've ever known, you have been programmed, you have unknowingly been programmed, maybe by choice, maybe not by choice, but either way, you've been programmed by the world system. And at some point, we all were. And it's like I've said, when people watch the news, which I don't, but they watch the news, they read the paper, they hear reporters report something. Most people, they accept it because it's coming from a newsroom. It's coming from a reporter. And that's just part of the system. That's part of the training. That's part of the hijacking your mind. Michelle, you say we need to reprogram ourselves to dream and be sovereign. Perceptions of truth can be one-sided, but if we choose to act, think, and believe in ways that is in the interest of the good of the many versus just ourselves, this world would radically change for the better. Absolutely. You say, I think we have no real understanding how our reality is guided or created. We don't understand the universal laws of manifestation and how we affect our personal and global reality. We are being programmed to destruct through all the different levels of manipulation, news, music, movies, and propaganda. That's right. And that's what I'm saying is they promise to further education. That's what they say. But what they actually mean is they promise to further indoctrination, to further indoctrinate, not to educate. And it's, take, college or high school history, for example. High school history. And you have a student that says, Isn't history written by the victors? Ooh. Yes. That kid is going to be, that kid is not going to be on the teacher's Christmas list. That kid's going to be hated. Ask me how I know that. Yes. Teachers, those in authority, professors, they hate a student that asks questions like that and bring up facts like that. So, the history class, for example, you're taught all this, you're taught all these things. Okay, well, my first question is, were you there? Okay, well, how do you know that this is true history? Because it's true, history is written by the victors. So, true American history, true Texas history, true world history, who knows? But I guess what I'm trying to say is that so many things have been so altered and manipulated to fit in and to affect you in a certain way, to maybe to be patriotic, no matter what, and or maybe to build some kind of strength within you. But trust me, it is not for your benefit. It's for their benefit. And when I say their benefit, I'm saying it is to benefit the system. That's just it, the system. And so many people have been prisoners for so long in this world system that, like I said, it's all they've ever known. And it's much like a child or a wife who have been abused by their parent or husband, whatever, and the cops come to take him in and maybe give him a real beating. And what happens? The child or the wife, they take up for their abuser because they say, he loves me. No, he beats the hell out of you, but he loves me. You see, that's sad, because what's happened is they have been programmed to accept pain, violence, beatings as love. And when that's all you've ever known, there you go. Michelle, you say everything they tell us in mainstream education system and news is partial, colored, false, and distorted truth. That's right. You can rest assured that everything that you're told is a bit of truth and a lot of lies that are mixed together. What happens when you put one lie into an ocean of truth? It all becomes tainted. And, throw it out. And there's so much of that now that when I hear news about anything, I stop and I don't react right away, because there's so much deception, so many lies. For what? Well, for gain. Somehow, some way, your reaction to these things that you're told, the news, empowers the system. It gives it power. I can't listen to news. Matter of fact, it makes me sick, and much of it, if I'm not laughing at it, because I mean, come on, some of it you can tell it's just blatant. I mean, it's right out there. You can tell that the reporter doesn't even believe what they're reporting, and it's very, very strange, very unsettling when you think about it. But the fact that people fear new things, they fear change, they fear leaving what they've always known, and for many that is the greatest fear that they have, is leaving what they've always known. And to some extent, I mean, that's something we all fear. I mean, we all fear that. No one likes change. No one likes new experiences. But does it cause fear? Yes. Should that fear stop you? No. You should go through it. You should make the fear work for you instead of against you. Don't succumb to the fear. And it may look like this huge Grand Canyon trench that you're going to be crossing, and when you take the first step over fear, you find out that it's like a speed bump. It's not as big and bad as you think it is. It's not as big and bad as your mind makes it to be. But the key thing is, you have to take that first step. You have to take that first step believing, yes, change brings growth. Don't be a caterpillar all your life. That's right. When you face change, when you say you're listening to this and you say, hey, this guy has really got me thinking now, and I hope I do, because I'm serious. The only way that you will know if I'm telling you the truth or if I'm delusional, let's say, is to take that first step. Now, what I'm telling you is your mind has been programmed to do what? To go to the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario in everything. And don't tell me you don't do it, because it's human nature. It's human nature because we've all been programmed to do that very thing. To jump to the worst case scenario. I mean, it's not just, you dying. I mean, it is you dying the most horrible, prolonged death in human history. So that keeps you in bondage. It keeps you imprisoned. But when you say, I can and I will, instead of I can't and I won't. Okay, when you take that first step, it may appear that you are stepping off the Grand Canyon, Gulch or whatever, into, certain death. You take that first step and you find out it's something that you can easily step over. And when you step over it, then you experience truth. And when you're in it, you'll know it because there's no fear. The fear's all gone. Face your fear and it will disappear, literally. And that's the only way. That's the only way that it will happen, is when you experience it. You have to experience fear for it to disappear. What is fear? It's the anticipation. The anticipation of what might happen or what could happen. That's right. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. If you haven't read that, I would encourage you to do so. The Hero's Journey. And I believe that's Joseph Campbell. And but that's what I'm saying about unplugging, is look at it this way. What if you have been plugged into this system your entire life? It's all you've ever known. And it's all you've ever been shown. Because you're connected to it. It's just like, view it like a virtual reality. I mean, not literally, but I'm talking about as far as your consciousness. Your consciousness, what if it's been hijacked and you've been connected to this system, and all of your fear, all of your anxiety, depression, unhappiness, that you wonder why there's so much of that you experience, and why that life is the way that it is, and you wear that mask, and you're happy, you're successful, you take the Facebook pics and you put them on, and you want everybody to think that life is grand, and most people do. I have had people contact me and they say, I wish I was like people on Facebook. I mean, they're all so happy and successful. No, they're not. No, they're not. Not at all. Do you think that people are going to post a bad picture of themselves? Really? Do you think they're going to post the picture of themselves when they're so depressed they can't get out of bed? No. They're going to post their best picture. They're going to post themselves with their spouse hugging and looking like that, they have the perfect marriage, and once the camera's down, they're back at it. Come on. It's all, there again, it's all designed to keep you wondering, hey, April, glad you joined us. Glad you're here. But that's just it. It is designed to keep you down. It is designed to make you compare yourself to others. And that's why that when, I'm sorry, but when and I very rarely do, I'm not really a Facebook person. I don't stay on Facebook for that very reason. Because it is, it's people that are showing and sharing one side of themselves, and that's the best side. They don't show the whole picture. And or you don't see the whole picture. But to be honest with you, I'm not one that's gonna, be on Facebook and be voicing my problems and everything like that. I'm just not gonna do it. But and I'm not going to post every meal I eat either. I just don't get that. I just don't. But anyway. But yes, and when you listen to those that were part of the Facebook's creation, And I'm not talking about Zuckerberg. I'm talking about the ones that were working for him, that actually created, literally created it. They said they really feel bad. They really feel bad now. And people are like, why? Why do you feel bad about creating such a wonderful thing as Facebook? And they said, because it's not wonderful. They said, you don't have any idea. They said, what it truly is. They said, it's not meant to uplift you. It's not meant to, they said, it's meant to isolate you. Like, isolate? What are you talking about? See, I mean, blind, completely blind to it. He says, yes. He says, I have to live with that. There was actually two guys that they talked to 2 different times. He says, I have to live with that, knowing that I will probably be responsible for the breakdown of many relationships, he says, in the entire world. And the person still didn't get it. They're like, well, how? And he says, isolation. He said, they don't, people, they live on Facebook. The only people they talk to are on Facebook. So what happens? They isolate themselves from the real world. And they literally live in the land of Facebook. And what is the land of Facebook? We just discussed. The land of illusion. Yeah, people are not that happy all the time. People don't look that good all the time. It's sad, it really is. But I see people that are on Facebook day and night. And they're active. I mean, they are making posts. And what's really sad is those that make posts. I mean, just post after post after post. And selfie after selfie after selfie. And nobody likes it. Nobody even clicks on it. It's like it's invisible. Well, that would deter me from ever posting another pic again. But to them, no. That makes them post more because they are seeking and searching for that one picture, and they know they're going to take it. They know it's just a matter of time before they take that perfect picture of themselves that everyone's going to like and everyone's going to love and everyone's going to melt over, and they're going to be complimented on it, and it it may be like the Farrah Fawcett poster in the 70s. I mean, it may be in everybody's house. That's just it. So they're just going to keep on and on and on. Yeah. Well, I'm speechless. I mean, I just, it's very sad. But that's just it. Many people have never thought about Facebook being, something that would be, that could lead to the destruction of, how humanity relates to itself. I mean, as a whole. What is the purpose? The purpose is to divide. Michelle, you say, I agree, but on the silver lining, it connects us that are seeking truth that would have never met otherwise. I personally would not have the knowledge I do or be at the place I am spiritually without being online. Well, yes, and that's true, and I agree 100%. But what I'm saying is when someone lives in it, and they they're not using it to learn, but they're chasing that acceptance. They're chasing those compliments. They're chasing that acceptance, that love that they can't get in the real world. That's very sad. And you say, I think it's a necessary evil at this time. It is a tool, not a lifestyle. Right. April, I live a lot on YouTube. I do too. I like YouTube. I like learning new things. But there's a lot on YouTube that's sometimes I'll click on something and it just takes less than a minute and I'm like, oh man, why did I click on that? It's crazy. It just comes on and like the first few words out of the person's mouth is like, whoop, bye, next. It's, yeah. But for as much information as there is, there's a million times more disinformation. And some of the disinformation is actually more convincing than the information itself, if that makes sense. Because the people that disinformation is crafted, I mean, they really work to put on a good production, and they deliver it well, and it's all, but the way to solve that is to look for them to contradict themselves, because they always do. Sooner or later, they always do. And yeah, it's pretty scary when you think about it. When you're getting your information from, well, YouTube, because I'm living proof anybody can make videos. I mean, so, but it's there's a lot of clickbait, a lot of headlines. Whoa, this, and to what, get a reaction out of you, so you'll click on it and you'll watch it, and hopefully you'll believe it. But you're better than that. Michelle, you say, which is why we need to deprogram ourselves of beliefs and mainstream info so we can discern the truth for ourselves. Truth resonates and elevates you. That's right. That's right. And the only way that you can do that is just imagine yourself being plugged into a virtual reality program that you view as your life support. You're right, April. Discernment. The gift of discernment. Yes. Very important. But that that you've been told that if you unplug from that program, from your life support system, because it's all you've ever known, that you'll die. So you have to overcome that incredible fear, and you won't realize it, you won't see it, you won't experience truth until you do it. And I'm not telling people to commit suicide or anything like that. Please don't think I'm saying that. I'm not. I'm just saying that to unplug from the belief system of this world system. Because truthfully, when you think about it, where has all of your facts where where has how did you build your foundation for what you believe? It was all provided to you by the very system that you're a prisoner of. So, when you have that, it's pretty it's they got you. I mean, it works, and it works well. And the fear is a great motivator, but fear is also a great inhibitor. It prevents you from growing if you give into it. And that's what I'm saying. Don't give into it. I mean, attack it. I mean, go through it. Just go through it. Just, because once you do, it's not scary anymore. I mean, it's like I said, fear is apprehension. Fear is thinking about what could happen, what's most likely going to happen, which in our mindset is going to be the worst, most horrific thing you've ever thought of in your life. Even if it is, when you're in it, you're going to be too busy doing it to be afraid. As long as you're waiting, you're going to be afraid. You're going to be scared. Fear is going to take over. But if you just step into it, even if it is that bad, which it's not going to be. It's not going to be near as bad as your mind makes it to be. But even if it was, you're going to be too busy taking care of business to be scared. And that's true. I mean, that's absolutely true. It's just like me boxing. I mean, before every fight, I couldn't wait to get in and get started, because once the bell rang and I was in it, I wasn't afraid anymore. I didn't have time to be afraid. I was too busy, like I said, taking care of business. Doing what had to be done, and there was no room for fear. So, what is another term for that? Another phrase for that? Making the fear work for you. Michelle, you say recognize the disinformation, logos and symbols or sigils. Big corporations have logos. When we, as creator, look at them, buy them, we charge them fueling the corruption. Yes, and those sigils are, yes, they're powerful subconscious activators and triggers. Music is repetitive programming. It sure is. Now, consider that radio, when it came out, it was hailed as the tool to control the masses. And then we have had TV come out. And it's like, wow, TV is even better, And then in, 1983, they said, hey, why don't we combine the two, MTV, and that'll put radio, the power of radio programming people's consciousness with television, and we'll give them double barrel hell. And that's what they did. And so that's why that in movies, many movies, there's an accompanying soundtrack. So what you see, you associate with certain song, certain lyrics that are written and designed to trigger and elicit certain reactions and responses within you. And you're right, movies conditioning used to lower our standards and belief systems. That's right. Absolutely. It sure is. And people are more likely to do something after they've seen a character do it in a movie. One that they can relate to, one that they can associate with. So, anyway, I'm going to take a short break and I will be back in 3 minutes. So, stay tuned and I'll be right back.
Let's nail this rally for you, motherfucker.
And I'm back. Okay, we were just talking about music and oh, anyway, that was a heck of a song. But music, movies, even back in the day. I mean, back in like the Middle Age. Well, not the Middle Ages, but like the Renaissance. There were painters. There were painters that were very they were the church was against them, and the church was against them because they painted such paintings, scenes or whatever that had a hidden or a that moved people on a subconscious level. And there were many painters artists that were actually they were threatened. I mean, with death because their paintings, their depictions, while it didn't look that bad. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't anything that people would get really upset about. most people didn't even see it. But then again, they did see it. They just didn't realize it. And the Roman Catholic Church really cracked down on a lot of those people because they're, painters, artists. What are artists? What are painters? What is it really? Well, free thinkers, creative minds, and this world system has not changed. It's still the same. They do not want free thinkers. They do not want. They don't want visionaries. Not at all. Matter of fact, it's discouraged and they're shunned or shut down. Yeah, they don't. It's just they don't want it. And I believe it was Tesla. I think it was in a movie or something. Tesla supposedly said that for each 100 years, the world will accept one visionary, but that's it, and no more. And Tesla was I can really relate to him because he didn't care about getting rich. He didn't care about he didn't even care about making a profit. I mean, he just wanted to people to have free energy and be well and happy. And man, those in power said, "Do what? Are you serious?" And well, Tesla was like on the opposite end of the spectrum, completely far away from their thoughts. The only thing is there was no getting around it because he was who he was, and I'm the same way. I mean, if I was offered, millions of dollars to do something that I could do for free, or that I could do and provide people with, things that they needed free of charge forever, I wouldn't take it. I would not be interested in that money for the sake of at the expense of using people, or that would be selling out. That would be laying down. That would be rolling over, and I don't do that. I don't bend and I don't bow. So take your money and shove it. I'm not interested. And see, that's just it. Is if see, we're all just one big happy family. Michelle, April, myself. I mean, yes, we're very much alike. And by the way, you two are great. You're wonderful. You're amazing, incredible. Now, also keep in mind, I said we are very much alike. So, but I mean it, okay? I'm being sincere. So, just, accept it. Anyway, but it's true. People are like, it's like my mom. She's always said. She said, he has never been interested in anything but truth and knowledge. She said he's never been interested in getting rich, being famous, or this or that. And I really haven't. I mean, I really, that's just something that has never never appealed to me, really. Now, having said that, I can be the life of the party, or I can sit back and I can watch everybody else have fun. And I can have fun either way and be perfectly happy. I don't, it's, as far as like fame or whatever, I have no need to be seen or whatever, but if need be, I mean, yeah, I can step up. But as far as the materialism, it's just never appealed to me. Now, spirituality, big time. And yes, I think it is too. I think it is wired in our DNA. It's our very, it's that life. It's what the Bible says. The life is in the blood. Well, it's not talking about the blood so much as it's talking about the DNA, or maybe it's saying the life, the DNA is in the blood. But what it's saying is when it says life, it's not talking about just living. It's not talking about being alive. It's talking about that spark. And if you want to call it that divine spark, so be it. But it's something different. It's something very, very powerful. And I believe everyone has it, but for those that don't exhibit the spark or whatever, it's hidden, or it's been suppressed. It's been covered by what? By everything the system provides. And like I said, the system does not want that spark activated. And it will do anything and everything to make sure it's not. Because when it is, then they lose a prisoner. People will inevitably be set free, because that spark drives them to truth, drives them to question things. And why do you think that we, and I know that you, Michelle, I know you, April, I know that you always question everything, It's just, yeah, it's who we are. It's what we do. Why do we do that? Because questions tell us more than answers ever do. Yes. The answer is not the reward. The answer is not even the power. The questions are what empowers us. Why? Because we learn from questions. We learn from asking questions. We don't learn anything by the answer. By the time that we get to the answer, we've already experienced it for ourselves. So, is it the answer that empowers you, or is it the questions? It's the questions. The questions led you there. And it's like, is the joy found in the destination? No. Joy is found in the journey. Even though when you're going through it, it may not be so joyous, but trust me, the joy is in the journey. And many times when people get to the destination, they're pretty bored. Well, what do I do now? Well, how about another journey? That's the way I look at it. But anyway, those of you who have questions and want to learn more, we can certainly pick this up next show, because there's a lot of information. There's a lot of things that need to be really deeply discussed, and with how subtle this is, and but at least this is something. This is a start to where you can at least have that thought, that seed has been planted, and I hope that you will think about it, and just maybe consider, hey, does this sound like something that I might be going through, or such and such. But if you need to contact me, you can contact me at the texarcistpodcast@gmail.com. You can also you can call the show line 903-956-0055, and you can leave a message. I'd like to give a shout out to new listeners in Germany, Puerto Rico, and Washington, D.C., as well as Nicholsville, Virginia. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. And I hope that you keep listening, and please email me or check out my YouTube channel, and I will be on YouTube tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, live video. So I do the podcast from there on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time. So please, check it out, and just take part. We'd love to have you. Anyway, April, thank you. Michelle, thank you so much for being here on the chat, since the phone didn't work out, but I will take care of that and try to figure out what's wrong. But nevertheless, it'll be taken care of. Anyway, thanks a lot, and thank you who didn't take part in the live chat but listened, and thank you who are listening to the rebroadcast. Love and light to you all. Love you all. Good night from Texas. See you next time.